Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan set that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. The New Mutants annual number 1 from 1984 cost a buck back in the day. We got this wonderful cover by Bill Sienkiewicz, featuring, oh, what is it? This is Cannonball here. Steal This Planet, a rock fable. I think it's Lila Cheney, I think is her name. Gosh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I think it's Lila Cheney. So, all right, here we go. So, we have Cannonball here. Well, first of all, we got our credits. Chris Claremont, writer. Bob McLeod is the penciler. However, Bob McLeod and Tom Palmer are doing the ink here. I love the screen tones being applied here. The Cosmic Cannonball Caper. And so we are in the danger room, and he is look at all the screen tone here. He is doing an exercise, that professor, and he's basically supposed to raise this as high as possible. And so Cannonball says he's doing the best he can, and Professor X says, then I suggest you redouble your efforts. And so we have, I think she's called Psyche still during this time. And then we have Eliana, Colossus' sister, who is also known as a magic here, and they are encouraging him. And Professor X says that everything is going pretty well, and that his heart rate and breathing are all within normal parameters. By the way, I have a playlist. I have a New Mutants playlist. I have an X-Men playlist. I have an X-Universe playlist. Feel free to check it out. The X-Universe playlist is everything that is Chris Claremont related, even if he didn't write it, but it's related to this era. It's all in there. A couple limited series and stuff like that. Everything done in reading order. I love the magenta being done here with him here, and he's doing the best. And look at it, he's like, he's doing it. And Professor X says, all right, Danny, it's your turn. And she goes, that's not fair. And he says, that's the idea. So she is going to create a projection of the Brood Queen, which startles him. And boom, he fails. And so he's like, I can't believe you tried to spook me on purpose. And Professor X says, and succeeded. And so she says, sometimes this has to be done here for your own good. Professor X says, I'm the one that told her to do it, and if you want to be mad at anyone, then be mad at me. And he says, do you understand what I had to do that? And he says, I did, as I do everything. It's so he doesn't let his guard down. He can't focus on just one thing and not focus on everything else. And he reminds him he needs to embrace being a leader because of his age here. I love, again, the screen tones here. He's very proud of him for all this. So and believes he will do better. So now in New York City, this creature appears there and sees a poster of Lila Cheney, and he tears it down. So, all right. So Danny's now with Stevie Hunter doing some stretching exercises, and then she screams out in pain. She's got a Charlie horse, which are very painful here. Of course, Stevie helps her massage, and then they go a little bit about what happened with the demon bear, which is how she kind of broke her back, but she was healed by one of the Morlocks healers, and so just she's trying to recover. And Roberto kind of breaks in and says he got tickets for Lila and sorry, he's got tickets for Lila Cheney's concert. And so Lila Cheney's supposed to be like a huge pop star or rock star during this era. So at the concert, there's all these people waiting in line, but of course, the New Mutants. Uh, Ileana. By the way, here's everybody. So we have Rain Sinclair, Wolfsbane, Sam. Oh my goodness gracious, Cannonball, Danny, Psyche, Roberto da Costa, um, Sunspot. We have the new member Cipher, Doug Ramsey, and we have of course Ileana, Magic, and then we have oh goodness gracious, oh my god, Magma, Amara something. I forgot her last name. I apologize, but so Ileana says we're gonna be waiting for hours to get in, and Bobby says no, we're not. Follow me, people. They actually have backstage passes that allows them to also be involved in the sound check and everything. And all the kids are kind of jealous, and Bobby says the advantages of having a billionaire for a flower, even if we're not in speaking terms. The tour promoter owed me a favor. So, all right. And so, Amara's struck by the guitarist. Oopsie. And Bobby tells him all about him. And this guy's like, hey, get out of the way. We're working here. And so, all of a sudden, here is Cypher. And he's like, hey, there she is. And Bobby's also struck by her. They're like, whoa. And so here is Lila Cheney, who is a minor character with the X-Men here. And so, and who is this guy? He was at the in the line, but I have no idea who that guy is. So we can see that this structure here is going to begin. Okay, so this was Warlock here. Okay, my bad. He must have been having a uh, image inducer. So that thing he notices that is going to topple, and so off they go using their powers. They manage to get it still, but it's gonna fall on her. And of course, Sam has no choice. He uses his powers to try and save Leela and get him out of the way before that thing falls on them. So they introduce each other, and she is this is the manager who at first was like, "What the heck are these kids doing here?" And she's like, "You saved my life," and she kisses Sam and invites him to an after party that they're throwing for them and the friends here. So, and of course, Bobby's like, "Oh, can't believe that that's happening to him." And so, all right, and Warlock discovers that this was that there's actually sabotage. Someone had broken that chain. So Warlock says there's some kind of energy signature or some kind of scent in there. So they're gonna send Wolfsbane to investigate. So there she goes. And while the concert's going on, they go see, and then all of a sudden they're surprised to see that the saboteur was this creature here, um, of whatever. And so he's a warrior. It says here, warrior hunter, and your puny forms will not deny me my rightful prey. As he kind of gets Wolfsbane out of the way here, and so Wolfsbane says he's the one, and so off he goes. Sam goes to get him, but he ducks out of the way. And you can see how quickly he dispatches Sunspot. Now, I know normally I read these with you guys, but this is an annual, and there's just we're gonna kind of hurry this one along. Otherwise, it's a 40 pager. So, and Chris Claremont is so wordy, I decided I would probably be easier to just narrate. So we're not here all night. And so Ileana says, "My soul sword only affects magical beings. No point in summoning, but I'm a teleporter." But before she can create or send one of her stepping discs, he shoots at her with his ray gun. So the New Mutants here, you see Warlock. They all try to fight him, but the creature kind of sends Warlock there, and now you've got Magma, but also is not able to defeat the monster. And so here comes Cannonball and hits him. Um, but here's the thing. All right, so this part I have to tell you because they don't show you. It says here, Lila notices, as if in response, she tears into a wildly passionate guitar riff. Now, this guitar riff basically causes his weapons and armor to explode. And so, but it doesn't tell you. It would have been nice if, with all the room that you have in these panels, make them short and try to fit her playing the guitar, to sort of show here because there's no guitar. If you, and I understand you have to read them too, but if you don't read it, it doesn't tell you here. So anyway, so he explodes here, and he sort of disappears in this burst of light, and now here she is playing the guitar. So look at Warlock, that's awesome. So Warlock's not doing very well. It says here, power overload discorporation imminent. And so Sunspot's like, I don't like this. We've got to get him back to the professor real quick. And Bob McLeod is old school. So you can see these little ticks that they put. I call them the Ramita sticks. They're just random. They don't even portray anything like shading. They're just like click click, for no reason here. So, and so as she begins playing here, here's we have Sam falling and Amara's trying to hold him, but I don't understand. It's not like he's falling 10 stories high. He's only falling a little bit. So, Layla begins playing, and it turns out that she's going to create like a Stargate, some kind of gate here between the speakers and the band, and everybody has disappeared. So if you saw, Sam was above her. I don't know if it's so here she notices. I was just wondering if Magma is also disappeared, and you can see Danny. They're gone. The band, Lila, Sam, they've all disappeared, as she says here. So, of course, the audience is like, "Whoa, this is the coolest thing." And so they're thinking Warlock, who's with the image inducer, and so Rain is crying because Sam has vanished here. So they're helping Warlock here. They basically have to help him release all this energy that he absorbed here. So of course, Ileana kind of understands that it was all related to that light show here. So, and so Amara did not leave. So, all right, and here he is. He's like, everyone should get away before I explode here. And they ask, excuse me. She asks, Kate, can you use that power to activate that gate? And he says yes. And Amara asks what the plan, and Danny says, Lila kidnapped our teammate. I mean to get him back. And Magma's like, but we're students, novices. Shouldn't we summon Professor Xavier and the X-Men? And Danny says, there's no time. Look at him, Amara. We'll never get him out of the theater. I'm the leader of this outfit. I'll go alone if I have to. This is my decision, my responsibility. And Leona says it's no less than we did last winter for Kitty Pryde. That was New Mutants 15 through 17, which I have in the New Mutants playlist. Whatever the danger is, the New Mutants look after their own. Thanks, Ileana. Warlock, go. And so he releases that energy to activate. And I think that yellow being used is the for the Stargate. So here they go, and everybody watches, and the kids are now in space here. And so they figured they'd be in the same destination that Lila teleported, but she is wrong, and now they're in the void of a space here. But uh, it says here now, seconds before the mutants disappears from Earth, you can see the band arrives here. And so they said, hey, make yourself at home, Sam. And Sam asks where they are, and she says, where do you think, love? As I recall, I invited you over to party after the gig. I don't know about you, but I can't wait, as she kisses him. And Sam says, what about my friends? And Leela says, things got a little hectic. We had to split sooner than anticipated. Afraid they got lost and left in the shuffle. And so she goes, she asks him, do you like the view? And he says, this is where you live? Be it ever so humble, there's no place quite like it. And so it's a Dyson sphere. And if you don't know what a Dyson sphere is, look it up on YouTube or Wikipedia or anything like that. But that's what we have here. So, Cannonball guesses correctly that Leela is a teleporter, a very powerful one, and she's making the moves on Sam. She says, Sam, when a lady drops little cute clues and hints as to her intentions, a courteous, ever considered gentleman responds. And so, um, so cute outfit, handsome, but it really doesn't suit you. And she asks them to find him something. And here she's like, hurry back, Sam, I'll be waiting. And so she thinks you're shame. One of these days, your impetuous romantic nature is going to cause you end with no grief. And so here is Charsula, which was the alien creature that they fought. Um, and he says, I come with Hunter. Warning, have I come with Hunter of Bounty makes you his prey. Already. Okay, so it was a bounty hunter, not him. I apologize. I hate it when she has people, or when Chris Claremont makes everyone speaks like Yoda. And so it turns out that Leela is selling the Earth and all its people as if she was able to do that. But um, so that's kind of what the thing was for. And she goes, you know the rules, and agreed to them. My theft and subsequent sale of the planet Earth, together with all its peoples, will proceed as scheduled here. So, all right. So the New Mutants wake up. Turns out that Warlock had created himself into a ship and a spacecraft, and was able to give them oxygen. Otherwise, they would have died in outer space here. And Danny, of course, goes, if not for Warlock, they'd be dead. Some kind of leader she is. She says, love the scream tones being used here. And so she asks Warlock to get them back to Earth here. And so now Sam has changed here, and look at him. He's dressed like a punk rocker here, and goes into her bedroom. So, of course, she's hot and bothered for him, and he kisses her back. And turns out that guy, that roadie guy, is a bad guy here. He's like, enjoy yourself, Leela. While you're playing, I'll be pulling off the double cross of all time. And so he says, Charasula, this is Hov, whatever. Doesn't matter. I beamed you our coordinates and opened a channel through the defensive perimeter for your strike force. Once Leela's dealt with, you can pay me and take the Earth for your very own. So, double cross here. And so we go to the next. Claremont doesn't tell us. Normally, Claremont's really good at saying elsewhere or at that moment. So we know that they're in the Dyson sphere. And Doug Ramsey, whose mutant power allows him to deal with languages, which makes him very good with computers, is taking some notes. And this planet, by the way, the city that we saw is not populated. I forgot to mention that here. So, and Ileana lets us know that they took a day to get there and stuff, and now he sees down. He's afraid of heights, but Ileana kind of gets him, and then Denny yells, "Hey, something's coming! Look out!" Again, I love the screen tone here. So they're under attack, and Amara says it's the same creatures we fought in the theater here as they shoot. So you can see the New Mutants kind of scrambling. They hit near Danny. Wolfsbane kind of changes half to half a she-wolf basically and grabs Danny, but they continue to shoot. Now they're both falling here, and so Sunspot jumps up and gets rid of this guy, and he's gonna go get them. Nope, it looks like Warlock went to get them. So, all right, and Sunspot's gonna have to try to learn how to use this sled, and it looks like he's now heading toward these cliffs here, and as he yells, "No." And so now we have Sam, Danny, Magma, and then Warlock here by those alien creatures here. And here you can see Lila. Oh no, well, she's blonde here, but no wonder the hair. I'm like, oh, that's Rain's hair, but they made her blonde here, and so. Rain is confused because she's looking at Sam. They're like, "Oh my God, it looks like him." So they set up that he is the betrayer here, and he's like, "Drusilla made me an offer I couldn't refuse, hun. Nothing personal. This is business." And he says, "Greedy man, but also stupid to think Drusilla would honor that bargain," which we always figured that they wouldn't. So he gets rid of that dude here, and so he's gonna press this switch, and it's going to bring the Earth to him because there's a we'll call it a knitting a Stargate web that was knitted here. And Sam is like, "What? He's gonna steal the Earth?" And Lila's involved, and so as he was going to hit it, there's a big rumble, which of course would most likely be magma here. And so this guy says, earthquake, and of course Lila's like, "That's impossible. There's no geologic plates on the Dyson sphere to shift." And so of course they knew that they figured it was magma, and here she comes. And so Sam says, "Lila, was Drusilla telling the truth? Are you part of this stealing the Earth?" And she says, "I won't lie to you, Sam. It was my idea." And so here comes magma. That actually looks pretty cool here. Again, love the use of the screen tones here. And here comes Magic, who gets the soul sword and strikes this guy down. But let's see. It doesn't work because he's not a demon. So in comes Cypher, and he says, "Grab the gun," which he does, and then shoots him, and then shoots at the handcuffs, so they get out. And look at them. "Oh, it is you, Sam." So he goes in and uses his cannonball power to get rid of the alien here. And so now the New Mutants are gonna join the fray here. So we are almost done here. And so Danny uses her power to create an illusion of what they fear the most, while Cannonball goes through and breaks through the wall here. And he was gonna try to make a heroic entrance here, but when he broke the the wall, it ended up hitting this this guy here. So everybody is down, and the New Mutants have won the fight here. And so there's now a problem, and there's going to be a self-destruct mechanism. And Sam says, "Can't you stop the process, Lila?" And she says, "I don't know." Of course, um, Cypher will figure it out here. So she says, "I'm not native to his place. I discovered how to make things work here through cause and effect, trial and error, but I never learned why." And of course, Amara's like typical grave robber mentality. So Cypher again, he's looking at the hieroglyphs and he says, "I'm beginning to sense a pattern." Um, and she says, "You know what this all means?" And he says, "Getting there. How long will it take?" No way of telling how long we've got. Of course, the room's getting shorter, and so they doesn't have much time. He says, "Linguistic structure is pretty basic. The more sophisticated the technology on the sphere, the simpler I found it to operate it. Much makes sense." Okay, there's a bit missing where the wall collapsed. And they're like, "Can you figure it out?" And he's like, "I'm doing my best." And so there you can see here, and so he finally does it and stops it. So he was able to figure it out at the very end, of course. So all right, and so Danny says, "You owe us an explanation." And Lila says, "I'm a thief, as Charasula said. I figured hijacking the Earth would prove I was the best." And Amara says, "So what will you do now? Try again?" And she says, "I owe you my freedom and my life. I pay my debts. Ask what you will of me." And Danny says, "How about simply leaving our planet alone? Deal. Besides, the whatever hadn't interfered, I'd have pulled the caper off. That's satisfaction enough for me." And so Cypher says, "I don't mean to talk out of turn or anything, but with the Stargate out of commission, how the heck do we get home?" And she says, "Leave that, my friends, to me." And so she sends them to London, her home. So she's a Brit, which was probably revealed in the thing that I didn't. So she's to the townhouse in England here. So Danny has to use the phone to call, and she's annoyed. She's like, "No money, no ID, no normal clothes, no passport. He's going to love this." And so Cypher asks, "Hey, Liana, why don't you use your stepping disc? Won't they take us to Westchester?" "Sure, except I shift in time as well as in space. We might end up arriving before we left or years in the future. It's not worth the risk." But she uses it all the time, so. All right. Make yourselves comfortable. Aren't you going with them, Sam? And he says, "In a minute." You really have sold the Earth, all its people? Seemed only fair. Earth sold me. What do you mean? Into slavery? My secret, handsome. I wouldn't sell you, Sam, ever, she says. And so we're in the last page here. And so they have a little bit of an argument here, but it's not too serious. She says her bandmates, he asks about the band, and he says they're fine. They're in the Dyson sphere. Nobody knows about it. So they make the moves on each other. And of course, poor, um, poor Bobby here is like, ugh. And it says here, 3 months later, Lila's single rockets to the top of the charts, making Roberto feel even more miserable for its love song entitled Sam. So, all right, New Mutants Annual #1. Chris Claremont and Bob McLeod. Like and subscribe. Hope you like this. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.